What is your purpose in life? What is the type of work that you can wake up every morning, you're excited to do it? And what is the type of work that makes you feel fulfilled and satisfied every day when you're going to bed? What is the type of work that gives you meaning, a sense of satisfaction, a joy, and ease in your day-to-day life? These are the type of questions that I'm going to be answering in this video today, and I want to let you know that it is much easier than you think. It is not something that you need to overthink a lot and you need to feel like you're in an identity crisis almost, because I have totally been there. But what I want to let you know today is this doesn't have to be the case, and I'm going to show you how. Hello beautiful beings, welcome to my channel. My name is Chanmye, and if you're new, I am a psychic healer and a happiness and fulfillment coach. So in this masterclass today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I have come to find my purpose and how I help my clients find their sense of purpose in life too. Because this is something that a lot of people experience, this feeling of feeling empty or feeling lost whenever you don't know what your purpose is. It can feel like every time you are searching up online, you see, or maybe scrolling online on social media, you see all other people happy and living their fulfilling life, and it can look like it's such a long way. You just don't know what yours exactly is, and you want to know more on what that is. Or maybe you already have a sense of it, but you want more clarity and more of that pinpointing, being able to pinpoint what that is around what you desire. And if so, then I'm going to be sharing with you how you go from feeling lost or feeling empty, not knowing what your purpose is, to feeling connected to your purpose, knowing what your God-given, your divine higher mission is. So let's talk about purpose. When it comes to purpose, there is a very famous concept called the Ikigai, which you can see here. It's like 4 circles overlapping. And in this Ikigai concept, which is a Japanese concept, the concept here says is that since our purpose can be found through 4 intersections of 4 different components. So one of them is what the people need. So there is people needing and what makes money. And then there is what you love. And then what you are good at. So the Japanese Ikigai concept says that we can find our purpose through knowing these 4 intersections, through what the world needs, what you get paid, what you are good at, what you love. And these are all cool, right? However, the problem that I find with this concept and trying to find out your purpose with this is that a lot of people can be caught up, be overwhelmed by trying to figure it out all and trying to find out this one thing, because you may have to go through like trying to find out different careers and trying to make a list of all the possible careers that you like. Then you're caught up in other aspects of what would make money, right? What you're good at. So a lot of the problems with this is that a lot of women end up overthinking on what your purpose is. It can look like you have to analyze this whole Excel spreadsheet, and it's not fun anymore. And this is the problem that I see. And the other problem that I see with the Ikigai concept is that although, yes, the Japanese concept is a very holistic, well-rounded way of finding out your concept. However, a lot of people, especially in this Western world, can get caught up, especially in terms of trying to find out if it makes sense, if it is logically sound. So maybe you find something that you love, but then a part of your brain is like, well, how is it going to make money? Like maybe you grew up in a society where it says things like money doesn't grow on trees, like artists are starving. Let's say you are interested in art, but then your parents have conditioned you to think in that way. So a lot of people, they get concerned with these matters, especially the need, what people need, especially this money area. And so even though we want this well-balanced holistic approach, a lot of people end up only focusing on only one particular area, especially the one that you are conditioned to be most concerned about and to be fearful about. So instead of doing this concept, here in this video today, I'm going to be proposing a whole new concept that is going to make your life way easier when it comes to finding your purpose. So instead of this, what we're going to do here is we're going to scratch this all out, and instead, the model that I'm proposing is to follow your curiosity. So follow your sense of curiosity instead of trying to figure out with this model. And I know that this sounds probably vague, probably like out in the airy-fairy, but we're going to make it easier by going deeper into what that curiosity means for you. Because here, this one is going to be actually way easier, because instead of being caught up in your head and trying to think of so many different ideas on what to do, we're going to be instead feeling more in our body, bringing ourselves to our body, because our bodies are the guidance. It's going to be guiding us to what exactly that we desire. What is it that will exactly light us up and will make us be fulfilled and find meaning in life. And in order to follow our curiosity and therefore find our purpose, it's important to understand the myths around following our purpose, because it is these myths that are making it way harder for us to find our purpose. It is these notions and it is these beliefs or concepts that we have built around finding our purpose. In fact, it is so easy for you to know our purpose. Your body, your soul already knows what your purpose is. It is only these beliefs and concepts that are actually making it hard. So in this video, we are going to be breaking that down, all of them. So myth number one. So the first thing that makes it so hard to find out our purpose is this idea that once you find a purpose, it's gonna be like you earn a trophy. Like, you know, that one thing that is going to absolutely change your life and you're gonna be happy, you're gonna be fulfilled forever. The problem with this idea around our purpose is that it makes you have so much pressure around needing to find out what that is. And of course, just as what you know, like whenever there is so much pressure, then there is no more curiosity anymore, right? So it's just like when you were a child, and back when you were a child, you were curious, you wanted to play so many things. Like if you're like me, you wanted to play Barbie, you want to also play as a doctor, you want to play games like you are an engineer or a astronaut, like you want to play and figure it out all. But when there is this pressure that you need to find this one thing, like maybe in your teenage year, you start to have this, people start to say like, or what are you going to major in, right? Things like whenever we go to college, we start to have that pressure. And this pressure actually makes it worse, makes it harder to find out what we actually desire, because instead of following what we love and following what we're curious about, now we are living from a place of fear. Like we have this pressure, like if we don't find that right thing, then we're gonna screw up, and we're gonna waste our entire life. So this actually makes it harder. And from my lived experience, I can say that because of that pressure, I thought that what I truly wanted to be was a medical doctor, or like be a scientist working in the lab, and which was a cool idea and which would make an impact. And at that time I was curious about it too. I was good at it too. Like I kind of loved it. But then later on I found out that that was actually not my purpose, not my passion. And one of the reasons why that happened was because of that pressure to find that trophy. So in college, it's like you need to find that main major, and if you don't, like if you screw up, then you're gonna suffer for the rest of your life. So instead of that belief around needing to find our purpose in that way, instead, what I would like for you to think is that purpose is actually like smelling. You know, when you're like Tom and Jerry, Jerry is like following that smell of a cheese, and Tom is just like baiting Jerry almost. But instead of thinking like in a way like Tom and Jerry is like an enemy type of relationship. I want you to think of it instead like the divine, okay? The divine or God or universe, whatever you call it. It's also giving you actually hints. It's kind of like a little cheese, and you can smell it from where you are, right? The divine wouldn't place that cheese smell on somewhere like 10 years down in the line. It actually exists in this timeline. In fact, what you experience right now in this present moment is actually the most important receptivity to it, the most important time that you can receive it. It's actually like a living proof of whether that exists, right? So that smell, that aroma of something that is like so exciting, that is so fulfilling, it actually exists right now. And it exists right now, but the thing is, the mind is afraid of following it. The mind is afraid of following like, oh, what if it's not the right thing? What if something that's better is out there, right? The mind has all those questions, when the truth is that how it actually works is that right now, let's say you are at this time point and actually God is guiding you to the next point, like right here in the blue mark. And then once you get there, then you'll find maybe something a little bit that is different, and then go there, and then go there, right? Your purpose is never this one linear main concept, but it's actually like very free flowing. It always exists, and it's always guiding you to something that leads you to your connect the dots to fulfill your life purpose. And like, for example, in the past, what I was excited about was fitness and nutrition. So in the past, it looked like this thing was my fitness and nutrition. I was excited about it, but then as I followed that down that path and the PhD, I realized that I didn't like it, but something that makes me so excited was spirituality, like meditating and all that. And then because of that, I found that I got into a hypnosis lab instead and did my dissertation right here. So I went to hypnosis path and also started to open my psychic abilities. And then now here I am becoming a coach. And right now, maybe there are other parts, like maybe that is like creativity is one other path. And then if I go that, then I go to the next route, right? So the divine is actually planning us. The problem that a lot of people have when it comes to finding a purpose is that instead of actually following what is here and following out the path, instead, we try to create this whole map of how it's going to look like, what you're going to be pursuing 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, instead of actually trusting what is here, which actually makes us actually hard to find, because the divine has a plan that is my love, that is greater, that is better than anything that our mind could come up with. And we got to trust that in order to follow what the purpose is. Like, for instance, let's see, in my living experience, for instance, like right now, maybe working as a coach, now because of all the paths that I went through, it may look like they are totally not relevant to each other, but right now I can see that each and every path that I've walked is actually contributing to what I am doing right now. So it is all about following your highest in every moment. And in every moment, what you experience right now may be different from what you are excited about 5 years down the line. And it's completely all right. It's simply about trusting what is making you feel excited, what you are curious about at this moment. So to help you find that thing that is actually present here right now in this present moment, here's some questions that you can ask. So one of them is, what are you curious right now? Curious, you want to explore this right now. And then the other thing is, what do you want to learn more about? It's actually, that curiosity is almost like wanting to read a book that is on the shelf and maybe you've never touched it and you're just simply interested in it, and don't have so much pressure in order to follow it. It doesn't have to be this, oh my God, like it absolutely changed my life on the first sitting, but instead maybe it's just a book that intrigues you. You just want to know more about, and it's absolutely fine. That is always how the divine is always guiding you. It's just this little simple curiosity that's occurring moment to moment. Once you follow it, you will start to experience like confirmation, and you can experience that through your body. Like, and each and every individual, they may be different, but for me personally, how I experience that confirmation is through having goosebumps, like spiritual chills, like feeling that feeling of bliss and excitement. And it's something great, right? It feels great in your body once you do it. You can know that right now, my love. All we have to do is first let go of the mind that is afraid of trying new things. And then once you try it, I want you to connect with your body. See how your body is feeling, because your body is telling you whether it's following that right, the aroma that the divine is giving you, right? Guiding you to your ultimate life purpose. Also, the other question that you can know is like, what opportunities that are you interested to explore right now? Because in this moment, if we are just curious, there's a lot that are available, and it's only the mind that is thinking that we need to follow this like very rigid tunnel, the right path. But instead, there is so much freedom to explore the opportunities that are available right now. And the key is to not overthink and not to overanalyze. And the second myth to debunk, limiting belief, that is needed to break in order to find our purpose, is to start seeing that your purpose is actually not just this like one thing, which I previously mentioned it earlier, but that it's actually a holistic aspect. It's actually well-rounded, and it actually consists of multiple components. Actually, it's not just one single thing. This can be true to some particular examples, like maybe to some people, like my husband, for instance, ever since he was young, he knew that he wanted to pursue healthcare, is still doing healthcare. Like since 6th grade, he already knew what that is. And that's his like whole entire lifeline, how it looks like. And it's absolutely okay. Some people will have this, but to some other people, it's not like that. Like for me, for example, your soul actually has like a different fun way of doing things, and it can look like multiple different aspects. So as I said in the previous example, it looks like for me, like fitness is one of them is creativity, art, painting, healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, psychic senses, like so many different things, right? All of them making this unique a roadmap that is unique and individualized and personalized for you. These are all the skill sets that your soul wants to develop in this lifetime. It's important to realize this, because a lot of people, especially let's say in the business world as well, think that if you just need to like stick to one main niche. But the problem that I find is that our souls, in our true nature, we are multidimensional beings. So that means that we aren't just here to share one gift. A lot of us, especially if you are very spiritually attuned and sensitive, you know that you have multiple gifts. What happens whenever we follow all these gifts is that we start to see that our gift is very different. Like for me, yes, there can be another happiness and fulfillment coach, but if they want specifically to their body, to strength training and bodybuilding and combining that with psychic gifts, like that is something very unique to me. People can rarely find that anywhere else. And again, your soul has that specific set of gifts that make you so unique and make you so rare. And our job is not to control what that one particular thing is, but instead to be open to it. And once you start to open, you start to be able to see that it absolutely makes sense. In the previous lifetimes, maybe you have had gifts that you have developed at one point. Like for me, I feel like in my past life, I was like an artist, and I just normally, like without any training, I just seem to draw art. People say that it looks good. And what I found is that sometimes we want to use the gifts from our past lifetime too and bring them into the current lifetime and combine with other skill set that we acquire in this lifetime in order to develop this whole new collection, this treasure of all the gifts. And that is what makes you unique. That is what makes you also you. And it's so important because this is so different. You cannot find it by following the footsteps of someone else, but it's very personalized. You have to trust you. It comes from you. So in order to follow that curiosity and find your purpose through this way, so some questions that I like to ask are like, what is it that you always do without even thinking about it? So, something that is natural, because these gifts are expressing through us, through our natural, right? Our natural desires, our natural way of doing things. So it's important to follow our natural essence. And you can also know that through observing other people. What do your friends say that you're just like so good at? What do you just naturally do just because you like to do it. Like for instance, right now, I'm realizing that I'm a teacher. One of my archetypes is a teacher. That is one of the way on how I naturally express. And so it's important to be mindful of how you go about life in your day-to-day moment instead of thinking that your purpose is somewhere out there. Another thing that is so fun to explore is to ask yourself, what are the different aspects of you, the different archetypes of you? So by becoming more self-aware and knowing more of yourself, you get to know what your purpose is too. So like for me, I realized that I have so many like different aspects of me, and they're not meant to be like boxed in. I'm not meant to be boxed into one particular thing, but I'm here to own it all. Like for instance, one of them is a healer, one of them is an artist, one of them is a bodybuilder. There are like so many different aspects of you, and the more that you develop each and every one of them, when you start to see this whole beautiful set of all the gifts that are wanting to express, and you start to see that your purpose is actually very much a living, breathing expression of your soul. It is not just this one particular career, one limited thing that you are doing. Which leads on to my last point, which is the final myth to debunk in order to find your purpose. And that limiting belief, my love, is the belief that your purpose has to be a job, something that you do, something that you clock in and clock out, thinking that your purpose is measured in terms of your productivity, thinking that it's measured in terms of how useful you are to the world, when the truth is that your purpose is actually just an expression of yourself. What it means to be you, expressing you, where you're feeling it so much that you cannot help but express it and put it out there in the world. It is something that you enjoy so much that you can't help but put it out there in the world. It's just being you. The more that you are you, the more you are going to be living your purpose. And in fact, you don't have to be working all the time in order to be fulfilled. So that myth is so important, because something that I see among my clients is that feeling empty or feeling lost because you're not productive or working at a job, you feel unfulfilled. You feel like, oh, I don't know what is it, what my purpose is. Maybe because I'm not living my purpose, I don't feel worthy enough, I don't feel valuable enough, I don't feel like I'm contributing much to society enough. It comes from this belief that your purpose has to be this productive monetary thing, when the truth is that instead of making work your purpose, what if we make your purpose you? You living life to the fullest. You living life to the fullest right now in this present moment. Because as long as you are living life to the fullest, making use of what is available in this moment, listening to this moment, as long as you are doing that, my love, you cannot help but serve others. Because now you are not trying to put out things in the world. Instead of it, you are filling yourself up. You are filling your cup. And when your cup is full, when you are excited and joyous about life, you cannot help but share that out in the world, right? Because we share what we experience. So if we are feeling lost and empty and like we don't know what that purpose is, then we're going to be only giving out that vibe to other people. Know that your purpose is simply for being you. Like the birds, sea, or the trees, they are not trying to find and run to somewhere else in order to be their purpose. They're already their purpose, because they just have to be present. They just are living, and through them living, they're already fulfilling their purpose. So important to realize, and it comes down to your sense of self-worth, my dear. Like when you realize that you are fulfilling your purpose, you are worthy and you are enough, even just by you existing, that is how you realize that your purpose is not far away. We cannot try to spiritually bypass that. We cannot try to like cling onto a purpose in order to be fulfilled. And in fact, fulfillment comes from you. It comes from you experiencing how good life is, how blessed you are in this moment. And like for me, what I realize when I am like healing myself, when I am feeling good within myself, then I can't help but do things that are my purpose, like making these YouTube videos, which is why I mentioned early on in the video that curiosity and feeling in our bodies is so important. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect all the time in order to be fulfilled, because of course as a human being, there are some days where you feel bad, right? But it's about simply receiving what is here in this moment. Like for me, as long as I am sharing, as long as I am like open to what insights that life wants to give for me, as long as I am accepting what I feel in this moment and I am ascending. And through my ascension journey, then I get to serve others and guide others on whoever that wants to also create this path for themselves as well. So some questions that you can ask for this final component of that myth to break down: how have you been growing as a human, right? How have you been growing as a soul? So you focus on your own growth first. And then what are you feeling now that you can't help but share with others? Listening to our feelings is so important. And how is your presence valuable? You know, if you don't have to do anything, but where you were to make an impact to other people through just your presence, what is your presence actually doing? And you don't have to try to figure it out. Like, you just have to be open yourself to it and let yourself be that presence for other people. Maybe it's that presence of compassion, maybe it's love, maybe it's healing, whatever it is, right? The universe is doing that through us. It's that spirit inside of us, living in us, that is doing the work. And finally, something that you can ask is, if you don't have to work a day in your life, let's say you don't have to work this anymore, then what would you be? I don't want you to focus on doing even. I want you to focus on what you be. Because your being is what is fulfilling the purpose. It is not your doing. And no matter how much you're trying to do and productive, you're not going to feel fulfilled if you think that doing is the answer, when the truth is your being, your soul is the answer, my love. So all in all, to recap what we went through in this video, what I want you to know is that you are connected to your purpose now. You already know what your purpose now. Your purpose exists right now. The answer is in the present moment. And the only thing that is blocking or covering it is the mind. Purpose is like this light that is inside of you. It's not actually somewhere else. You can't find it through watching a million YouTube videos. You can't find it through looking at other people, but it is coming from you. So you have to focus in. But the only thing that is covering that is the mind. The mind is covering that, saying things like, oh, it's not good enough. What if it fails? What if I fail? What if this doesn't work out, right? All of these things are actually disconnecting us from the purpose. And when the truth is, the purpose is you. That is the key word. The purpose is you. You are the purpose. The more you let yourself be you, the more that you let yourself feel the joy and the excitement, the curiosity of this present moment, the more you're going to be connected to the purpose. And you don't need this to make this master plan. God, the divine, is making this master plan. And here you are. Your awareness is looking at what your purpose is. So we got to be present to what that purpose is, instead of being caught up by these mental barriers. The mind is trying to deflect it away from this present moment, and it's trying to say that, oh, it's not here. It is the future moment. It is somewhere else, right? Someone else has it. That is how you find your purpose, my love. That is how you live connected to your purpose in every single moment. You don't feel that gap inside of you anymore. Now, if you have found value from this and you want to go in even deeper and receive support along the way, live and to experience your most fulfilling life, you can book a call with me. That is exactly what I do, and you can book a call with me. It's in the description box below. Otherwise, I am so happy that you're here today. I am sending so much love to you.